welcome to another episode of the Now Show, the show for overcomers and winners where we take you on a journey to becoming the better you. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing money habits for building wealth. And joining me to discuss this is an expert in the field and a very special person, Mr. Segun Akitemi.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the Now Show.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Segun Akitemi is the CEO of Page Financials, and they are an innovative financial services company. As it tells us about money and building wealth, it's going to tell us about Page as well. So, Mr. Akitemi, welcome again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Everybody's talking money, and building of wealth. So, can you please tell us what money is and building wealth? What's the relation?
It's very simple. Money is just a medium of exchange of transactions, irrespective of what type of transaction it is. But when you talk about wealth and building wealth, it's about actually utilizing the value and actually creating value from that exchange that will transcend many generations.
That will transcend many generations.
Yes.
You know, never a time has it become more important to discuss about this building of wealth.
Definitely.
Because I was thinking the other day and I thought, things have actually changed. The way we were and the way we are with our children.
Yeah.
We grew up knowing that we had to take care of our parents.
Yes.
And many of us, of course, did that and are still doing that.
Yes.
But the children of nowadays...
Nobody has your time. Nobody has your time. So you need to start start building wealth for actually your own future.
Yes.
And even the future of the children unborn.
That's right.
So what happens is that we tend to have what I call misplaced priorities. And the starting point is to ask yourself, are you a rich man? Or are you a wealthy man?
Are you a rich man or are you a wealthy man? So what's the difference between the two of them?
There's a massive difference. Riches are non-valuable possessions. But when you define wealth, wealth is when someone has valuable possessions. And what do you define as valuable? Valuable possessions are possessions that can actually continue to generate enough revenue for you. But riches they are possessions, because like I said, money is just an exchange. But the use of money for creating value is what would make you wealthy.
Okay.
So,
of money for creating
value is what makes you wealthy.
Okay.
So you could actually find yourself having billions of naira and still very poor. Because that money...
Billions of naira.
Billions of naira are still very, very, very
Please give me those billions first.
Because for as long as you don't create value from the money you have, then that money is useless. So you must be able to create value. So valuable possessions is what makes you wealthy. It's not the riches. It's not the money in your bank account. So you have to first ask yourself, to what value am I utilizing the money? And I can also liken it, because I have a background in technology, I can always liken it to technology. A lot of people acquire the best of computers.
Okay.
A lot of people acquire the best of phones.
Okay.
But you ask yourself, it is not about the technology you have. It is the use of the technology that drives automation. And that's what makes you an innovative, technology-driven organization. So it's not about the acquisition of the technology. So people spend a lot of time acquiring riches, but they don't spend enough time actually creating wealth from those riches.
So how do you start the journey of creating wealth from the money that you're acquiring? How do you go about starting this journey?
The starting point is the mindset.
Okay.
So first you have to have a mindset of wanting to ensure that as much as possible you want to build that fortune.
Okay.
So you have to have a mindset of wanting to create value. So irrespective of what you have, you have 1,000 naira and you ask yourself, so to what use do I put this 1,000 naira?
Okay.
Do I put it in an investment?
Saying the man with 1,000 naira can actually build wealth?
You can build wealth. And someone with 1,000 naira can be wealthier than even someone that has 1 million.
Wow.
So wealth is actually, when you're wealthy, you find yourself in a comfort zone because you've been able to create value with the little you have.
Okay.
But if everything is still driven by your bank balances, what happens is that, seriously, those things are not put to use. Is what you put to use that would actually create value. And, I tend to liken it to when people say, oh, I have a lot of experience. But the truth and the reality is that when you think you have a lot of experience and you have not applied the learning from the experience and actually put it to work, that experience is useless.
It's useless.
So if you have 25 years working experience and, the learnings from that experience. So for instance, we all went through, I would say some people went through hell last year.
Yeah.
Based on the pandemic.
That's right.
But we are going into 2021 and you're asking yourself, what have you learned from last year? Now, it's not just the learning. So how are you going to put the learnings into practice this year to ensure you don't make those mistakes?
Okay.
But a lot of times we're making the same mistake over and over again.
Because man is always quick to forget.
Yes, no doubt about that. And we tend to say, oh, let's just have faith in God. I think it's James 2:26 that says faith without works
is dead. Yes.
So
that's true.
If you do not actually put things into action, so someone comes and says, I'm hungry, and you say, I'll pray for you. That's not the solution. You need to. It's not about just praying for him. You need to put it to action. So the same thing about wealth. Okay. If you have a lot of money, you need to put that money into action such that it can create value. I define wealth as valuable possessions and riches as non-valuable possessions.
So what are these valuable possessions that I need to have in order for me to build wealth? Let me give you a typical scenario.
Okay.
Nowadays, people are coming up, people have terminal illnesses. In fact, even COVID is costing so much money to treat now.
Yes, most
and
definitely.
Here is somebody who thinks, I have a tidy sum of money put away. And boom, you have COVID or a terminal illness and you get to the hospital and they say, you have to pay 30 million, for example. And that will wipe out the man's account.
Definitely.
So, in order not to have that kind of situation, how do I build the sustainable wealth you're talking about? How do I build value?
It's so simple. So, for instance, there's HMO.
Okay.
There's BUPA. There are so many health insurance schemes that you can embark upon.
Okay.
Based on what you can afford.
Okay.
So if you have insured yourself against that thing, which is what I'm saying, that putting money to action is not just putting money in the bank.
Okay. So one of the things they need to get is
medical insurance.
Medical insurance. Wow.
So it's always been penny wise, pound foolish when you don't invest at the right time. So you should not wait for COVID to occur.
I need you to come again on that.
Okay.
It's always penny wise,
pound foolish when you don't invest at the right time.
Invest at the right time. Wow.
So what happens is that you find yourself waking up to the reality of the environment and you wonder what has happened to you. If you have read this book, Who Moved My Cheese? What that book tells you is that you don't focus on whether your cheese has been moved. If your cheese has been moved, you better start creating or baking another cheese. So the issue is you have to ask yourself, so all this money I have, to what use am I putting it? So you have 100 million and they say, pay 1 million naira every year and you have a lifetime health insurance.
Okay.
Right? And someone else tells you, don't worry, just put the money in the bank and the interest will be growing. So any health hazards you have, you'll be able to take care of it. And something happens like what happened last year.
Yes. Yes.
And you now wonder what is happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that we need to put money into action. And the medical insurance is just a typical example
Yes.
of what you could actually apply money to. Because you see, timely utilization of money actually creates wealth. So it's not about when you... So another example I would give, drive on third mainland and have a flat tire without an extra. And all of a sudden, at that point, someone comes and gives you an extra tire. That person is like God to you.
Okay.
Even if you have 50 tires at home, it is useless at that point. So it is timely utilization of money that translates to wealth.
You know, for me, especially as a woman, I really want to know about this building of wealth. Because, you know, there's also this notion about men being able to generate wealth better than women, you know, and you do know that increasingly you're having many women who are the providers in their homes and things like that. So this topic is very, you know, for me, I need to know what are the practical things I should be doing. It's not like I have much, but at least the little that comes into my hands, what should I be doing other than saving it in an account? Because I do know that even if I put it in an account, something can happen and everything will fizzle out in one day. You know, I don't want to happen.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yes.
And you know, one of the if you read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, it tells you about how some people just keep putting money in a bank account, and yes, it will be giving you some return. Yes. But you must always divide your portfolio.
So division of my portfolio is important.
You cannot put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
So your cash is very nice to have.
Okay.
But it should just
cash
form
is always very nice to have.
Yes, just nice to have. But that is the best.
Bank account
no, but that is the best you get. Because you are it's a myopic way of thinking.
Okay.
Because you are not looking beyond now. Because the cash is only for now. Because what happens if the country, the government devalues currency?
Yes.
In a day, you can lose 30% of the value of your money. Right. But if you have invested in something that is actually valuable, look, some people go to the extent of investing in gold.
Yes.
They invest in so many things. In fact,
recently somebody was saying to me that, you know, I would say to you that if you do have some cash, never you keep, you know, naira in the bank. Just change to dollars and keep in your bedroom. I'm thinking,
you know,
keep in my bedroom and somebody brings comes my bedroom
exactly and takes it away. So it's gone. So that is also another myopic way of thinking. So, but if you are putting it to use such that it is in an investment that is safe, that is secure, and is growing in value, that is what would create wealth for you. And a starting point, a very critical starting point, because understanding wealth requires a bit of tenacity and learning too. So you must always learn and understand what you're investing in. So if you want to do bonds, for instance, you have to understand the companies you're investing in. You have to understand the fundamentals and say that, okay, are these companies in for a long run? What is the history behind even the owners? And where are they going to be in 20 years, 30 years, when you are probably going to pass these investments on to your children or your children's children? So your investment has to be with a bit of understanding. Because what happens is that a lot of people invest, and they invest based on what you call the bandwagon effect. So you hear that. So for instance, now the new craze is everybody wants to buy Bitcoin.
Yes.
And people don't understand anything. The only thing they know is Bitcoin was $5,000 in January last year. It is $35,000 now. So that means there's money in it. And next year they are predicting it's going to 120,000, and they go into it. And that is where they start failing from. So you don't even understand what is driving Bitcoin. At what point do you actually go in? So in the last 1 week, for instance, Bitcoin has swung from as low as 32, it's gone up to about 38, come down to about 31. You know, it's just been like a year. So you have to understand the market to know how to go into it. So the starting point for creating wealth is you have to understand the market you're investing. So first I said you must diversify.
Yes.
So don't hold cash.
Know the market you're investing in.
Know the market you're investing in. And you know, no amount is too small to invest. So every change you have, put it in something. Because, keeping cash with you, you are susceptible to not just utilization in terms of emergency, but we have a cultural
even spending on frivolous things.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a cultural environment in this country where you have to take care of your family responsibilities. I'm sure if I ask you today, probably gotten a few account numbers for people that say they want this, they want that. And
there's always one distress call, contact message.
You wake up and you realize that yesterday you gave out 200,000. And you ask yourself, that 200,000 you could have put it into good use. So as much as possible, keep cash away from you.
So how do you balance helping people and being a nice person and building wealth? It seems to be...
I'll tell you a story.
Yes.
And this is real life. And there's probably some guy, when I go to the office, I just give him 1,000 naira tip or 500 naira tip, And there was this day, I didn't have my wallet with me. And I searched all my pockets. The only change I could, spare change, and I checked the car. The only thing I had was 100 naira.
Wow.
And I looked at the guy and I gave him 100 naira. And he looked at me with a very, very strange look that, look, what's wrong with this man? Has he gone broke or something? But I gave him. Yes. He still said, thank you, sir.
Yes.
And I drove off. And I realized that, look, not a speck of hair in my head had fallen off. So that means that it is what you have that you give.
What you have is what you give.
So try as much as possible not to have, so that you don't give so much. Wow. And if you have to give, you only give what you have.
What you have.
So if you have 1,000 naira in your account, and this is someone you've been giving 10,000, 5,000, if it's 500 naira you can give, you give. Because the truth is that you are using the others to create wealth. Yes, you are being good to people. You are improving your social standing in the society. But the truth is that you also must. You have a responsibility. So as much as possible, keep cash away. Let it be invested in things. People that tell you to put money in dollars is all part of it, because the propensity for you to convert your dollars to naira to spend is probably a bit more difficult. So when you have that liquidity, convert it to dollars, so you hold dollars if you can, or put it in an account, or put it to use. So the same way too, when I say wealth is valuable assets. So for instance, cars are not valuable assets.
No.
They are fast depreciating.
Yes.
So you ask yourself, or even the basic things, look, I've been wearing a Fitbit, and all of a sudden, I don't even wear a wristwatch anymore.
Because your Fitbit does everything.
I have everything. Everything.
Counts your steps.
Everything. So you ask yourself, so all the watches you have, of what use? So you can actually put it to better use.
Let's do something about those your watches.
That is the reality.
Because I can trust the brands that those the collection.
Yes. So before you even, what that tells you is that before you invest in a watch, you should have invested in things that will generate enough money to buy the watch. So that is the starting point. So you do not need to put the cart before the horse, or else you actually run into trouble.
Wow. From everything that you're saying, I have one question to ask. This learning, can I do it on my own, or I need a financial planner? Because the reason why I asked that question, just last night, my daughter called me and she was telling me, she and her friends wanted to invest in cryptocurrency or something like that. What did I think about it? I said, I know nothing about cryptocurrency. I know nothing. I was quick to say, I know nothing, but I would advise that you speak to somebody who knows, who can advise you accordingly. So this, you've been talking about many things, value to my money and all that. Is this something that I can do on my own, or I need a financial planner to help me on this journey?
You could actually start in a very small scale on your own.
Okay.
Google has made life so easy. There's nothing you want to understand about cryptocurrency that you can't find on Google.
Okay.
There's nothing you want to understand about Bitcoin or any of the coins, Ethereum, all of them, that you won't find on Google.
Okay.
And the fundamentals will tell you the market. So it is when you now want to take it a step further that you want to say, okay, I'll talk to a financial planner to say, okay, guide me. What do you think I should do? And there are a lot of books. The problem we have is that a lot of times we don't spend time learning and actually reading and understanding actually finance itself. And it's not complicated at all. It's just about our own. I started by saying it is starting with a mindset. So, people are not ready to go through the pain to be able to get the gain.
People are not ready to go through the pain
to actually get the gain.
Wow. I'm saying in my head, I want to get to a place where I'm comfortable in a few years' time, not even in the very near future, where I know that should I fall ill, I'm well taken care of. That's my medical insurance. I want to go on vacations. I want to be able to. So let's say, what would you advise before me? Let's say my income is about 200 to 500,000 monthly, for example. Go to somebody who's, what should I be putting away from that to ensure that I don't have to depend on. If it comes from my children, it's a bonus, because of the way children are nowadays, and everything.
No two investment paths will be the same. Because no two DNAs are the same.
No two DNAs are the same.
So, what your investment appetite is and your spending appetite is different from others.
Yes.
But what I would say is two things. One, you should prepare for turbulence. Because turbulence would come. And turbulence, I mean financial turbulence.
Okay.
You find yourself in a situation where, oh my God, this expense is coming up, this expense is coming up. So you first have to plan your expenses. That's number one.
Okay.
Then number two, which is also very critical, is that you need to continue to freeze your spending.
Okay.
Because very easily, you wake up one morning and you discover you spent on so many frivolous things. And we don't take cognizance of those things as we go along.
Wow.
So those two things are important. I cannot tell you, out of the 500,000 naira, take 200,000, put it in this.
Okay.
But I've started by telling you
habits.
that your habit has to be very well tailored.
Okay.
What you don't need, right? Don't buy. That's it's
a lot of us women need that advice.
Yes, you need to wake up to the reality and smell the coffee.
But it's the truth.
It is the reality. It is the reality.
Yes.
But one thing is important, and you never fail in your pursuit of building wealth. And when you are intentional, for every time you reach out for that card and you want to swipe it, you think to yourself, is this thing adding value to me? If it's not adding value to you, take it back. It's not worth it.
Wow. Mr. Kitemi, it's been an amazing time talking with you and picking up these tips. If you need to be intentional, you need to think, you need to not buy what you don't need. What beautiful tips. And I'm sure that you know that when we call upon you to come and give us more and more tips, because this is about wealth creation. Everybody on wealth, building of wealth is a subject which a lot of people are very much interested in, and we do hope that you will oblige us and come back and back and back.
With all pleasure, anytime.
So that we too can be like you.
We're all growing.
So thank you so much for being on the Now Show.
Thank you very much.
And we do one thing on the Now Show which we call our last word. Just something you want to leave with us, leave with our viewers. Even if they don't remember everything we have discussed today, I know I picked up a few tips. So please, just the last word.
My last word will be that retaining is much more important than acquiring. So don't forget, the more you retain, the better for you.
Wow. Retaining. Until we come your way again on the Now Show, I'm Abosede Oza Osho, signing off with Mr. Shegun Akite.
Thank you. Thank you very much.